What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? What's up, Angie? Thank you for hopping on. What's up, Andre 3481? Thank you for jumping on today. How are you? I am doing well. Okay, transform you from now. Hey, J Mac. What's up, Era? Thank you for hopping on. How is everybody doing today? How are you guys doing this evening? I know it's a little after 7 o'clock my time. What's up, FC5 Links? I'm doing really cool. I've had a productive day thus far. Hey, you. How are you? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Angie Queen. Glad to know that you guys are doing well. Thank you guys so much for hopping on the scope with me this evening. So, this is, in case you don't know me, this is Tony Vinchale. I am with the Stronger You Fitness, ASU-Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You movement. What's up, Rich? How are you? That's right. You hit me up on Facebook today. Hey, how are you? So dropping some knowledge with you guys today on some nutrition stuff. So how many of you guys are ready for that today? Let's take a look. Hola. Hey there, Rich. Good. I'm glad to see that you're doing well. Glad to see you're doing well. Okay, so let's get it fitness. Let's get to the title of this scope. And the title of the scope is Food Sensitivity Testing. Why everybody should get one. Oh, I'm good. Let's get it fitness. How are you? How many people on the line today? What's up, Kim? How many of you have actually heard of food sensitivity testing? If you've heard of food sensitivity testing, say yes. If you have not heard of it, say no. Okay, that's good. Let's get it. Thank you so much. So again, food sensitivity testing. How many of you have actually heard of food sensitivity testing? Okay, let's get it. Fitness says yes. Kim says no. Okay, who else do we have on here today? Who else, if you've heard of food sensitivity testing, say yes. It says no, not yet. Okay. And if you haven't heard of food sensitivity testing, say no. Just want to see what I'm working with and how far I need to go into this with regard to the amount of information that I need to give. Is that all that we've got? I think I've got 2 no's and a yes. Thank you so much for those hearts. Okay. So, how many people know, for those of you who said yes, do you know the difference between a food sensitivity test and a food allergy test? For those of you who said that you had heard of a food sensitivity test, do you know the difference between a food allergy test and a food sensitivity test? What do you know about that? Yes or no? And if you do know or have some information, okay, no, you do not. Okay, I think that was the only yes I had was from Let's Get It Fitness. So let's go ahead and start talking about exactly what a food sensitivity test is. It's exactly what it says it is. It's a test to see what food you are sensitive to. Now, an allergy test, a food allergy test, is designed to tell you what foods are going to cause some type of an immediate allergic reaction, i.e. death or hives or something like that. So, for example, I've got a sorority sister who is allergic to peanuts. Not peanuts, but to carrots. If she eats carrots, her throat will immediately start to swell, and if she doesn't get help in enough time, she will die. So those are some of the things that you find out. There are people who can't have dairy products. It says, what I know is that in Texas, it rains on one side of the road and it doesn't on the other. Yes, I'm telling you, it does. For those of you guys that saw that scope yesterday, it was literally, I showed it to everybody, it was literally raining on one side of the street. So I was outside on my driveway, so literally on the right-hand side of the street on my neighborhood, it was not raining, but on the left-hand side of my street, it was raining. It was funny. Okay, so that's what a food allergy test does. It's going to tell you what foods will cause an immediate allergic reaction. A food sensitivity test is going to show you which foods your body are sensitive to. Why is that important? Because if you are sensitive to something, it's not going to produce an outward allergic reaction. But what it will cause is inflammation on the inside of your body. So a lot of times when I'm working with the client and they say, oh, I've done this, or when I meet somebody and I consult with somebody and they say, okay, I've done this, and this, and I still can't lose weight, and I work out and I eat right, and I've been to this specialist and I've seen that specialist and I talked to this doctor and I talked to that personal trainer and I've done everything that everybody asks me to do and I'm not losing weight, that is my next question. Have you had a food sensitivity test? Thank you so much for those hearts. Have you had a food sensitivity test? Because if you have not had one, then you could very well be ingesting foods that are causing inflammation in your body. And if you know anything about inflammation, if you've done any research on that, or if you ever have the opportunity to sit down and talk to a general practitioner, a lot of times they will tell you that some of the markers for many diseases, some of the beginning of many diseases that we are familiar with, again, the top metabolic diseases, diabetes, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, dyslipidemia, issues with cholesterol, blood pressure, things of that nature, and even some cancers stem from one of two things: the body's inability to be able to regulate blood sugar and or inflammation. So this is what happens. You eat these foods that you're sensitive to and they cause all of these pockets of inflammation in your body. And when you have inflammation in your body's constantly in repair mode. It's constantly trying to repair that stuff, And then that's when you have all of these issues. That could be the beginning of all of these different metabolic issues. And it can also cause issues with being able to lose weight. It can also cause issues with being able to gain muscle. So if you get a food sensitivity test, which I believe everybody should get one. I believe that everybody should get a food sensitivity test at least 2 times per year. Why? What's up, Anthony? Thank you for joining. Why? Because what a lot of people don't know is you can actually develop a food sensitivity. Hey there. What's up, Chantel Rogers? Thank you for joining me today. You can actually develop a food sensitivity. Thank you so much for those hearts, to foods that you eat all the time. So for people who like fish, if they eat fish all the time, you risk developing a food sensitivity to fish. If you always like to include bell peppers in your food, if you eat bell peppers with every single meal that you have. Hey, Patty, how are you? Oh, thank you, Amanda. I love that you're getting some value out of this. What's up, Darrell95? Thank you for joining. And so if you're constantly eating a lot of the same things, eventually over time, your body could develop a sensitivity to it. Now, if you go and get a food sensitivity test, which again, I'm going to advise that everybody get a food sensitivity test at least twice a year. Thank you guys so much for those hearts. I really appreciate that. It lets me know that I'm still bringing you guys value that you want and stuff that you guys can use. If you get a food sensitivity test and it will score you, so there's a couple of health clubs that do it. Let's see. I know that I think somebody said ALCAT. There's some kind of medical laboratory called ALCAT, ALCAT. It says the basics of fitness equals food. That's right, the real 95. It's ALCAT. That is that's one of the laboratories or one of the companies that I believe that does food sensitivity testing. But basically, it's a simple blood test. You go get some blood work done. It takes them about 3 or 4 weeks to get the blood work back to you. And what they're going to do is they're going to score it for you. Each company is going to score your sensitivities differently, and they'll give you a key to let you know which foods you are sensitive to, which foods you're moderately sensitive to, and which foods you're severely sensitive to. And so what you want to do is, when you get that food sensitivity list, the foods that are on that list that you are sensitive to, you want to eliminate those from your diet completely for at least 6 months. It doesn't mean that you can never have them again. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean that, if you eat them that you're going to die. Thank you guys so much for those hearts. It means that you're sensitive to them right now and you need to eliminate them from your diet for an extended period of time to allow your body the chance to reset. So you get the food sensitivity test, whatever you are sensitive to, stay away from it for about 6 months, and then you can slowly reintroduce that to your diet. What I would do is I would get a food sensitivity test, stay away from those foods for about 6 months, and then right before I start reintroducing those foods into my diet, I would get another food sensitivity test to ensure that sensitivity is no longer showing up in my blood work before I choose to to slowly reintroduce it to my diet. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for those hearts. But yeah, so that's the issue. Now, in that 6-month period of time that you are doing away with whatever those items are that you are sensitive to, thank you again so much for those hearts. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a diet that is high in antioxidants. Why? Because antioxidants can fight free radicals, and free radicals help to cause additional inflammation in your body. And if your body is inflamed, you're more prone, and it's easier for you to have free radicals in your body as well. So you want to make sure that you have a diet that's going to be high in antioxidants so that you can fight those free radicals and allow your body to sort of reset itself while you get rid of that sensitivity. So with that being said, what questions do you guys have over the stuff that I have covered so far? I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys so much for those hearts and tapping that screen. I really appreciate it. What's up, Keena? So that's the information that I have for you guys today. So does anybody have any questions about what we have discussed on this session? Hey there, I hope you're doing well this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. So what questions do you guys have about the material we discussed today? And I hope that you guys are learning this stuff. Periscope is really fun for me. I love the community, but I also want to make sure that you guys are learning this stuff and that you guys either are writing it down or recording or taking notes or doing something and actually being able to take this information and apply it to your everyday lives and apply it to your fitness, health, and wellness so that you can continue working towards becoming a stronger you on a daily basis. Thank you guys again so much for those hearts. So what questions do we have so far? Shoot them at me. Let me know what you got. And I'm just sitting here chilling. What's up, It Works Rap Girl? Thank you for hanging out with me this evening. We are talking about food sensitivity testing and why that is important. So what questions do we have? And if you don't have any questions, you can throw up some topics that you'd like for me to cover on the next scope. So what do we have? Who's got questions? Hey there. Who's got questions? You got questions? I may have an answer. Is this the ALCAT, ALCAT? ALCAT is one of the companies that does the food sensitivity testing. Yes. Hey, Don Preston, how are you? Thank you for hanging out with me this evening. Sup? What's going on? All right, what questions do we have? Thank you again so much for those hearts, guys. I really appreciate that stuff. Want to make sure that I'm bringing you value and bringing you the stuff that you want to hear, the stuff that you want to learn, and the stuff that you want to listen to. What's up, Era? All right, so what questions do we have? We just had a whole conversation about had to get my fix. Thank you so much for those hearts. We just had a whole conversation about food sensitivity testing and why that is important and what you should do with that information once you have that test done. So what questions do we have? Thank you so much, Don Preston, about the information that has been covered. What's up, guys? If you were just joining the scope, this is Tony Vinchelle with A Stronger You Fitness, ASU-Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You movement. And we just had a conversation about food sensitivity testing, not food allergy testing, but food sensitivity testing and why that's important, why you should have that done, and what information you can do with that. It's the food sensitivity testing. So not food allergy testing, but food sensitivity testing. Food sensitivity testing. So the food sensitivity testing is going to give you a list of the foods that you are sensitive to. So again, food allergy testing is going to give you... Oh man, I would hope not. I don't think you're sensitive to everything. Maybe just a few things, and maybe the effects are exacerbated when they're mixed together. But I don't think you're sensitive to everything. So again, guys, food allergy testing is the test that's gonna let you know what foods are gonna cause an immediate allergic reaction, and that information is good to know. But what a lot of people don't know is the foods that they are sensitive to. And the reason why it's important to know what you are sensitive to is because the foods that you are sensitive to are causing pockets of inflammation in your body. And if you do not control your inflammation, that can lead to all kinds of diseases, diabetes, hyperlipidemia, high blood pressure, and even some cancers. It causes you to not be able to lose weight. It causes you to have issues with gaining muscle. So it is really important that you know the foods that you are sensitive to. There is a company called ALCAT. Thank you guys again so much for those hearts. Hey, Kenya, how you doing? So there's a company called Alcat. I also know that if there's a Lifetime Fitness in your area, Lifetime Fitness also does the food sensitivity testing as well. Hey there, girl, how are you? They do the food sensitivity testing as well, and I believe that there's a bunch of private labs across the United States that do the food sensitivity testing as well. But you want to get that done. That's a test that you want to get done twice a year. And again, when you get that food sensitivity testing, each laboratory scores it differently, and their key is going to look a little bit different. But what they're going to do is they're going to tell you the foods that you are sensitive to. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for those hearts. Again, it lets me know that I'm bringing you guys value. I love when you guys tap the screen like that. So it's going to tell you exactly what foods you are sensitive to. And it's important because when you're sensitive to foods, you will not necessarily have an outward allergic reaction, meaning that you won't have hives, or you won't have swelling, or you won't choke up and die or anything like that. But you will have these pockets of inflammation that keep you from losing weight, keep you from building muscle, and could potentially be the future markers for some of those metabolic diseases that people come up with. So you get the food sensitivity test. They're going to score you and let you know what foods you are sensitive to, mildly, moderately, and severely. And what you want to do is you want to take all of the foods that you are sensitive to, eliminate them completely from your diet for at least 6 months. And in that 6 months, it says you're right. What do you, I don't know. Is that a typo, Darrell? So yes, you want to eliminate those foods from your diet. It says, I'm severely wheat, egg, peanut, tomato, dairy. If you tested sensitive, how long do you need to stay? What's up? What's up, Katrina? Thank you so much for hopping on with me today. So if you tested tested sensitive for anything on that list that they gave you, you want to stay away from that from a minimum of 6 months completely. And when I say completely eliminated from your diet, I mean completely eliminated. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Completely eliminated. That means you can't have a little nibble of it. You can't have a little bite of it. I mean, completely eliminated from your diet for at least 6 months. And then before you decide to reintroduce it to you, it says, it's been 2 years. Every time I try, it's not good. So you've had a food sensitivity test or an allergy test. Are you sensitive to those things, or are you allergic to those things? It says, did you say Lifestyle Fitness does the testing? Lifetime Fitness. Lifetime Fitness is a gym. They've got gyms all over the United States. Alcat, the one It Works Rap Girl just put up, they do the testing as well. And there's a bunch of private labs. I'm pretty sure if you put it into Google, you can find a bunch of private labs that will do that testing for you as well. So back to those allergies. Hey, what's up, Dewey Kid 305? Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And again, thank you guys so much for those hearts. So again, are you you put up wheat and eggs and all that stuff? Are you allergic to that, or are you sensitive to that? Because those are two different things. So again, when you test positive for that sensitivity, whatever's on that list, you're going to completely, hey there, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It says allergy test couldn't be completed because of the reaction. Okay, so then that means that you are probably allergic to it. So that's not a food sensitivity test. That is an allergy, which means that you need to do your best by all means possible to completely eliminate that from your diet. So that's completely different from a food sensitivity test. Now, again, take the items that you're sensitive to, completely eliminate them from your diet for 6 months. But before you choose to reintroduce them to your diet, make sure, thank you guys again so much for those hearts, make sure that in that 6 month period, you are eating a diet that is high in antioxidants so that you can fight those free radicals and prevent any future inflammation and manage whatever inflammation that you have to kind of help that inflammation subside and go away. And then before you decide to reintroduce that stuff into your diet, have another food sensitivity test to make sure that you are no longer, or that sensitivity no longer shows up. So for example, thank you, Kenya. Hey, how are you? Thank you guys again so much for those hearts. So for example, there's one test where they score the sensitivity as 1, 2, or 3, 1 being mildly sensitive, 2 being moderately sensitive, and 3 being severely sensitive. So if you decide to knock out all of your 3s that you're severely sensitive to, then in a 6 month time, what you're looking for is improvement. Now, if in 6 months, if it's a 3, you want to see it go down to a 2. Okay, or preferably you want to see it go down to a 0, but at least you want to see it go down to a 2. And if you see it go down to a 2, go ahead and continue to eliminate it from your diet. And then the next time you get 1, you want to see it as a 1. Go ahead and continue to eliminate it from your diet until you can see that thing as a 0. When you see it as a 0, that means that you no longer have the sensitivity testing, or at least your blood work no longer shows the sensitivity testing to those items. Then you can slowly start reintroducing that stuff back into your diet. But that's just one of the ways that you can optimize your nutrition. A lot of times they say, oh, you know, I eat right and I eat lots of vegetables. Guess what? You could be sensitive to kale. You could be sensitive to romaine lettuce. You could be sensitive to brown rice. It says, thanks for the information. What are the other tests called? They're called food sensitivity tests. And there's just different companies, different labs that do them. There's different labs and they just score them differently, but the test is the same. Okay, the test is the same, but that having a food sensitivity test can help you to optimize your nutrition, because guess what? You know, brown rice, everybody who wants to go healthy, they want to eat brown rice. Well, check it out. You could have a food sensitivity to brown rice. Again, like I said earlier, the foods that you eat the most, sometimes you can develop a sensitivity to them because you got too much of that stuff. You can have a food sensitivity to chicken. A lot of people will say, okay, you know what? I'll eliminate beef from my diet and I'll just eat chicken every day. Well, you eat chicken every day for 2 to 3 years. I guarantee you when you do a food sensitivity test, there's going to be some level. Hey, Angie, thank you for joining. There's going to be some level of sensitivity found in your blood work because you've eaten it so much. So a lot of the things that we find healthy are healthy, but if it causes a sensitivity, if you've got a sensitivity to it, it's going to be more counterproductive than it is going to help you. So that's just a strategy that you can use to help optimize your meal planning. And so now when you sit down and you ask yourself, okay, what should I eat and what shouldn't I eat? Well, if you have that food sensitivity test, then you now have a list of foods that you shouldn't eat, that you should try to eliminate from your diet while you are on your journey. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. What questions do you have about that stuff? Thank you again so much for those hearts. I really, really, really appreciate that stuff. That's awesome and amazing stuff. It looks cool on the screen, and it helps me feel as though I'm giving you guys lots and lots of good value in that, and that you're able to use the information that I'm bringing to you guys. All right, thank you. Let's get it. Thank you. I'm glad that you found it very, very helpful. Okay, so guys, what questions do we have? What questions do you have about food sensitivity tests and the scores and what to do and how that helps you to optimize your nutrition? Oh, you're welcome, Katrina. Hey there, Danny Roy, too. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. If you guys are just hopping on, this is Tony Vinchale with the Stronger You Fitness, ASU-Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You Movement, personal trainer and nutrition coach, talking to you guys about metabolism-based meal planning and food allergy testing is the topic for this particular scope. So what questions do we have about the information that I have given out so far, or do we have any questions about the information that I've given out so far? Let me know. Let me know, because I want to make sure, and like I said, I want to make sure you guys are using this stuff because I'm building a community, but you guys, whether you know it or not, you guys are part of my Becoming a Stronger You movement. So I am hoping that you guys are taking the information that you are learning from these training scopes, you're taking this information down and you are applying it to your everyday lives so that you can optimize your fitness, your health, your nutrition, and your overall wellness as well. So, yeah. So what questions do we have? Who's got questions? Who's got questions? You got questions? I may have an answer. Thank you guys again so much for those hearts. I love that heart attack. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's really, really cool. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. All right. Who's got questions? What's up, 9C02CAC and a bunch of numbers? Thank you for hanging out with me this evening. What questions do we have? And if you don't have any questions, throw out some topics that you'd like for me to cover on my future scopes so I can make sure that I'm bringing you guys information that you guys want to use. Thank you guys so much for those hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Erica. You rock. Erica and Fred, thank you guys. Thank you so much. And Jay, and I think that's Jay or Katrina. I'm not really sure, but thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for those hearts. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so what else? What questions do we have, guys? It says, it sounds like you shouldn't eat something too much even if you feel it's healthy. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? The key is variation. The key is variation. You guys have got to learn how to switch it up. You got to start getting out to some of these farmers markets and picking up vegetables that you've never seen and fruits that you've never seen before. You got to start going down some different aisles. You got to start shopping down some international aisles, trying different meats, trying different foods, looking up stuff on YouTube. Yes, it is true. You know, people go healthy and the first thing they want to do is have grilled chicken. What did you have for breakfast? I had eggs and grilled chicken and potatoes. What did you have for lunch? I had grilled chicken and broccoli and rice. What did you have for dinner? I had grilled chicken and broccoli and potatoes. Like, first of all, it's boring. Who wants to do that? Like, I'm a bodybuilder, okay? And let me tell you something. I do not eat chicken and asparagus all day. Not happening. It's not going down like that. So you want to have that variation, number one, because if you don't, it's boring. Thank you guys so much for those hearts again. It's like ridiculously boring if you don't have variation. And number two, if you don't have that variation, then you run the risk of creating a sensitivity to something that you eat all the time. So yes, you are absolutely right with that, Mr. FC5 Links. Thank you so much for putting that out there. What other questions do we have, guys? I'm here for you. What other questions do we have about the material that was covered today? Make sure you're taking this stuff down, because I'm going to start giving out quizzes and stuff like that, and making sure that everybody's doing their homework and applying these to their lives. And I want you guys to try this stuff. The stuff that we talk about on these scopes, I want you guys to try this stuff. And when we come back on future scopes, I want you to tell me how it's working for you. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you feel. Tell me if it's helping you out. All that kind of good stuff. So yeah, definitely let me know. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. What other questions do we have? Do you have questions, or what other topics do you want to see me cover? Don't forget, we've got the 11 p.m. scope tonight. Thank you guys so much for those hearts. We've got the 11 p.m. scope tonight, and that 11 p.m. scope is a Q&A session. So it says gym time, have to go talk to you later. All right, thank you so much. Let's Get It Fitness. Thank you so much, and enjoy that gym time, man. Enjoy that gym time. Thank you guys again so much for those hearts. Make sure that for the 11 p.m. scopes that you guys write down your questions so that you are prepared, because that 11 p.m. scope is about you. What's up, Allison? What's up, Allison? Awesome. Let's Get It Fitness. Thank you, Allison, for hanging out with me this evening. But that 11 p.m. scope is all about you guys. It's about me being here as a resource for you, and answering whatever questions I can answer, and giving you guys helpful information. So make sure that you're prepared for that. But for right now, again, I just want to see, hey there, how are you this evening? Thank you for joining me. I just want to see who's got questions about what we talked about today with food allergy testing and I'm sorry, not food allergy testing, but food sensitivity testing, and how that affects your diet. If you're just hopping on and you don't know me, you're not familiar with me, this is Tony Vinchelle with the Stronger You Fitness, ASU-Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You movement, talking to you guys about fitness and nutrition. And this evening's scope is about food sensitivity testing. So what do we have? What questions do we have? Who's got questions, or who's got topics that they'd like to see me cover? It says, should meal plans vary based on the individual, or are there some recommended meal plans? The meal plan should be based on the individual. I do metabolism-based meal planning. What I do, what's up, Heather? How are you? The meal plan should be based on the person. I do metabolism-based meal planning. I do condition-based meal planning. And so what I do with my clients boils down to a very specific science. So most of my clients, I mean, their meal plans almost never look the same, because I rarely have two clients who have the exact same sets of circumstances. So that is definitely going to be dependent upon the client. Thank you guys so much again for those hearts. I really, really, really appreciate that. That's that instant gratification stuff, that shot of dopamine that makes me feel awesome. And then when I celebrate it with you guys, I get some serotonin, and you guys get some serotonin too, and we all help each other out, and it works out together for the universe, and it makes everybody better people. See how that works? That's amazing stuff. Okay, so who's got questions? We talked about food sensitivity testing, why you should do it, and why that's an important part. It says, my husband is diabetic and developed cervical neuropathy. We've gone to a predominantly paleo diet. Okay, Allison, it says, do you have plans based on health issues? Yes, I do. I do metabolism-based meal planning, and I also do condition-based meal planning. So, for example, my clients with hyperlipidemia do not have the same meal plans as my clients with MS, and they don't have the same meal plans as my clients with PCOS, and they don't have the same meal plans as my clients with hypothyroidism. So yes, I do condition-based meal planning, and if you want to set up a consultation, you can go to my website at www.asufit.com. That's at www.asufit.com. Click at the bottom where it says book your appointment today, and you can scroll through those services and book. If you're in Houston, you would want to book an in-person consultation. If you are not in the city of Houston, you would want to book a phone consultation, and that's where we'll go ahead and get started for you. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for answering that, or for asking that question. Thank you guys again so much for those hearts. Who's got questions? What questions do we have? I talked about food sensitivity. Good to know you're in Houston. Are you in Houston too? Are you in Houston or any of the surrounding areas like Conroe or Aldine or Fresno or Sugar Land or Missouri City? Anything like that? The Woodlands, Kingwood? Where are you from, Allison? Again, thank you guys so much for those hearts. So again, if you're just hopping on, Tony, oh, you're in Northside. Okay, that's what's up. I got some good friends from the Northside. I've actually got some schoolmates. Oh, you're Spring. Cool. You guys have some good schools out there in Spring. Actually, my kid's tutor is a teacher in Spring. I don't remember what school she teaches at, but she's a teacher at one of the schools in Spring. So that's actually pretty cool. You guys have some good schools out there. So yeah, but definitely go out to my website, www.asufit.com, and book that in-person consultation so that we can really sit down and talk about how we can introduce him to his potential, and get him moving on the right track. Again, thank you guys so much for those hearts. This is Tony Vinchelle with the Stronger You Fitness, ASU Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You movement. Our conversation today is about food sensitivity testing, why you should have it done, and how that affects your fitness, health, and wellness. So who's got some questions on that, or any other questions about nutrition right now, since this is the nutrition scope for today, and or any other topics? It says people with thyroids can lose weight. How? Yes, if you have hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism, you can lose weight. I don't know what it is with these people that are telling people with hypothyroidism or people with PCOS or people with cystic fibroids that they cannot lose weight. It is a lie. Now, if you talk to a nutrition professional or a fitness professional that tells you that you cannot lose weight, it's because they're lazy and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Yes, I said it, and I'll say it again. It's because they are lazy and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Because in order to put together a plan for somebody with hypothyroidism, it is very strategic. It is very specific. There are some items that you have to be really, really specific about, and the client needs to be, hey, Emma, thank you for joining me this evening. The client needs to be very dogged about following the program and very determined to be able to get through the program. Thank you so much for those hearts, and to be consistent. But with consistency and with time, you can lose the weight. It is possible. If you have hypothyroidism, or if you know somebody who is suffering from hypothyroidism and they are trying to lose weight and have not been able to do that, they need to get with me on some metabolism-based meal planning. Hey, lady, how are you? Thank you so much for the hearts, and thank you so much for joining me this evening. So yeah, if they are trying to lose weight, get with me. My website is www.asufit.com. Schedule a consultation, and let's go ahead and get you started. So what are the questions? Who else has questions? Again, we are talking about food sensitivity testing. We talked about what that is, why it is important, and what you can do with that information to help optimize your nutrition. So what questions do we have about that? Or if you guys, oh, thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate that. If you guys have any other questions about nutrition, go ahead and shoot those out right now while I've got some time. And or you can shoot up some topics that you want me to talk about in the future. So thank you so much for that heart attack. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so yeah, so what other questions do we have? Because I'm here as a resource for you guys. What other questions do we have regarding nutrition and food and all that kind of good stuff? Thank you again so much for those hearts. It lets me know that I'm providing you guys with some good value. let me know. Let me know. Don't forget about the 11 p.m. Q&A scope tonight. It says anything that can help with back problems. Okay, so if you have back problems, you're suffering from it, that's going to be twofold. So that's going to be your workout regimen, your rehabilitation regimen, and it's also going to have a lot to do with how you handle your inflammation. It says levothyroxine thyroid medicine. Does it work? Okay. So I am not going to say which medicines work for thyroid and which medicines do not. I am not a physician, and I don't study medications as part of my practice. The only thing I do is I look at different medications, and when I'm making suggestions for my clients, I try to make sure that their medications don't have any negative effects with the items that I do recommend for my clients. That's it. I don't study medications. I'm not a physician. When I do my studies, I do my studies based on conditions and how nutrition can help people work with those nutrition. So if that's the medicine that you have been prescribed for your hypothyroidism, I would ask now that, you know what, I'm actually glad that you asked me that question. I'm glad that you asked me that question, because now you've just opened up an avenue for me to talk about the Becoming a Stronger You movement. Part of this is us taking full responsibility for our health, our wellness, and our fitness. And I see a world where when we get lists of medications that we're supposed to take, you sit down and you make your physician schedule a consultation with you, where your physician can sit down with you and answer all of the questions that you have with regard to that medication. You want to ask about clinical studies. You want to ask about the number of people who had negative side effects. What kind of side effects were they? Was it a double-blind study? Was it a placebo-based study? Who funded the study? Because sometimes if the company that owns the product funded the study, you have to make sure that there's no conflict in interest. The other thing that you want to ask your physician, that every single person on this planet has the right to ask your physician, is whether or not your physician is getting a kickback from prescribing that medication, to make sure that there's not a conflict of interest. So if you have specific questions about your medication, I would say sit down with your physician, make them schedule a consultation to sit down and speak with you about that information and answer all of your questions, so that you are 100% aware of exactly what it is that you are putting into your body. Also ask if there are any alternatives to that medication, if there are some side effects that are found in some of the clinical studies that you are not comfortable with. So so that's the answer to that question. I know that was long, but I hope that was helpful information for you moving forward. All right, guys, so if you're just hopping on, again, this is Tony Vinchelle with A Stronger You Fitness, ASU-Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You movement. You're welcome, Angie. I'm glad that was helpful to you. So we are talking about nutrition. We just got through talking about food sensitivity testing, what it is and what you can do with that information, how you can use the food sensitivity test. You're welcome, Emma. I am so glad that was helpful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad that was helpful to you. So what other questions do we have? Who's got questions? I've got about another 5 minutes or so. So what other questions do you have? What other questions do you have? Thank you guys so much for those hearts. I really appreciate that stuff. Really, really, really appreciate that. That's kind of like that instant gratification, like a little kid type thing, but it's cool. Especially since it's in different colors and I don't get to play with crayons that much. So it makes life fun and it makes life interesting. So I really appreciate you guys for those hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Who's got questions? I've got about 5 more minutes that I can sit down here and talk to you guys before I have to sit up and do some more work and prep for some clients before our 11 p.m. scope tonight. So if you've got some questions, go ahead and throw them out there. I'm waiting. I'm here. Who's got questions or who's got topics that you'd like for me to cover in the future on future scopes? Thank you. Thank you so much for those hearts. Who's got questions? Does anybody have questions, comments, or screams of fury and pain? Hopefully not screams of fury and pain, but if you've got questions, comments, then I'd like to go ahead and hear those. No? Okay. All right. So we don't have any more questions, guys. So I guess that is it. Again, this is Tony Vinchelle with A Stronger You Fitness, ASU-Fit, and the Becoming a Stronger You movement. You can reach out to me on Facebook at /A Stronger You, the letter U Fitness, A Stronger You Fitness. I do answer my Facebook messages. My Twitter handle is the same as my Periscope handle, so you guys can hit me on Twitter. I do answer those messages. If you do not get an immediate answer from me, it's probably because I am working with a client or busy at the time, but I will definitely get back to you. So thank you guys for hanging out with me again. Don't forget about the 11 p.m. Q&A scope. And until I talk to you guys next time, stay strong, stay beautiful, and always, always, always work towards becoming a stronger you. Bye.